What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfella, Evening Grind, back with another video. Better late than never. Speaking on Guillermo Rigondeaux' latest assault on Vasyl Lomachenko. This has been going on about 2 or 3 weeks, them back and forth on Twitter as well. Rigondeaux is calling, Lomachenko's bluff, which a lot of fighters haven't been doing lately, especially with Canelo and Triple G, when Triple G should have took his offer at 155 and see what he would have did, and I guarantee you Canelo wouldn't have fought him. And now, Rigondeaux was calling for Vasyl Lomachenko's bluff, saying he'd come up to 130 pounds to make the fight happen. And, pretty much Rigondeaux has, really nothing. Well, he has something to lose. But if he beats, Lomachenko, I think people have to give him his credit. But, always they're going to find a way to discredit, any fighter that they don't like. I don't understand why people don't like Rigondeaux. I understand that he's boring. But Bernard Hopkins was born in his career, some of his career, and he had a lot of fans. Floyd is born, he had some fans, a lot of fanfare as well. It happens. But this is what he said to Lomachenko today. Verified as well after beating the best version of Nonito Donaire. Top Rank humiliated me publicly. When Lomachenko lost to Salido, they made him a star. Absolutely. For whatever reason, it's a different barometer for these guys. For whatever reason, Top Rank didn't like Rigondeaux. When he beat Nonito Donaire, Bob Arum blasted him right after that fight. Right with HBO, blasted him, said he didn't do that. But, he moved his hands. He hurt Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire was a pound for pound, top 5, top 8 type fighter. And he took everything away from Nonito Donaire mentally and physically. He wasn't the same. Then Walters did the rest of a brutal physical attack on him, and definitely wasn't the same after that. Lomachenko lost to Salido, a guy that had 9 or 10 losses, and then basically fans really hopped on the bandwagon saying the second pro fight. They gave him a lot of moral victories. And he did go on to make the Gary Russell fight happen. Lost the purse bid to Al Haymon for Gary Russell, beat Gary Russell, and people act like the Salido fight never happened. And they make all these excuses, he was overweight and all this shit, but at the end of the day, he did lose. Rigondeaux's undefeated. He's the only guy that I can remember in modern history that was cleaned out of division without having to, fight anybody. Everybody moved out because of him. Santa Cruz, Frampton, Quigg, Maras, you name them. They moved him out. And he's definitely right about this, man. Whatever, the issue is with Lomachenko and Rigondeaux. But one thing that Lomachenko did actually do in his career was he became more excited and more fan-friendly and moved his hands. And that's the one, element of adjustment that Rigondeaux hasn't made yet. I've seen some fights in the amateur where he's able to move his hands a lot better than he does. And I think if he gets more offensive and, it's definitely going to be in his favor. But moving up to 130 or 126, whatever it is, I think he becomes more defensive, because he knows his chin is susceptible. It's one of his weakest point. And I think he becomes more, susceptible. But I think as he moves up, more of these guys are going to try to open up. And it makes him, more dangerous and his counter ability more vicious. He's a great counter puncher, and those are the punches that catch you slipping, and he's a really, really good puncher. Elite puncher at 122, we had to see at 126 pounds, 130 pounds. But that's one adjustment he failed to make. Lomachenko was able to, sit down his punches. After you see he had the power to hurt Salido, add power, move his hands, and still be defensive responsible. So that's an adjustment Rigondeaux got to make. But definitely it's a double standard here. We all about exploiting double standards. And, Top Rank really put no effort in building, on Rigondeaux's brand after beating Nonito Donaire. They didn't try to give him a fight in South Florida to, bring all the Cubans and stuff out. They really didn't do anything. They went out their way to make sure Lomachenko, everybody knew that what he was doing was, popular or whatever. And it's not like, he has a large Russian fan base that come and watch him fight. So whatever the issue is, hopefully it's solved. They can get in the ring and they can duke it out. We gone.